Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena, this is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner. There's Corey Tackman. Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade brings you the Morning Sports Desk. And Corey, they got something big happening.
Indeed, they do. It's the Triple Play Challenge, CJ. FunZone Reward members can earn 1,000 free FunZone tickets when you play, buy, or reload 3 times by May 31st. That's a lot of months here. You get all of March, you get all of April, you get all of May. This is how you can earn that qualifying visit. You can stop by the FunZone and play your favorite games. You can buy a new FunZone card at the FunZone or online. You can reload your FunZone card at the FunZone or online. If you're not a FunZone Rewards member, scan the QR code on your screen on the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade Facebook page or in person at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade and join FunZone Rewards today to take advantage of this exclusive offer. Now, 1 qualifying visit earned per 12 hours. 3 visits must be made at the same FunZone location. Play and purchases must be made on a FunZone card registered to a FunZone Rewards account. Offer valid once per FunZone Rewards account. Qualifying visits must be made by May 31st. The Triple Play Challenge happening now at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Okay, Corey, it was a thrilling weekend of high school.
Basketball, give me the ball because I'm gonna dunk it!
Let's go to Friday night. The Perham Yellow Jackets taking on the Dilworth-Glendon-Felton Rebels. The Rebels got the better of the Yellow Jackets in 2 regular season appearances. They both finished tied for second in the Heart of Lakes Conference. Frazee was the champion in girls basketball this year, but both teams 1 and 2 met in the section championship game. Corey, this is like the first year ever that 8AA has went chalk in literally every game up to the championship. Usually there's some big upset somewhere. Not this year, up until the championship game, where the Perham Yellow Jackets get the victory over DGF. And I remember talking with Coach Super before this game, because as we talked about all week last week, that Aria Garrett for the Rebels is an excellent, excellent player. And I said, well, what's your plan to try and slow her down? And he looked at me, Corey, and just did this. That's all he did. And then he laughed. He said, no, we got to, for those of you who are listening on audio, he just clasped his hands together and looked up to the heavens like he was praying. But no, he's like, we got a plan. We're going to try and have to throw multiple players at her to wear her down over the course of the game. He's like, other teams have played her well, but then as the game goes on, she just kind of wears on defenses. So he's like, we're going to have multiple girls coming in. And let me tell you, Perham can play about 10 different girls. And even Coach Super told me before the game, he's like, we have girls that, we feel like don't play for us, but we feel like would be very big contributors for other teams. He's like, we are just deep. And that's what helped them in that game. They threw multiple different girls on the floor, a lot of different units. It was like hockey, the way they were line changing. And on top of that, Perham just shoots threes. They shoot threes. They shoot threes again. And if you think they haven't shot enough threes, they shoot more for good measure. And Corey, into this game, the Perham Yellow Jackets were third, not in school history, all time, according to Coach Super, in 3-pointers made in a single season. And by the time that they got done with the game, they ended up with the second place spot all to themselves. They are 14 3-pointers away from breaking the state record for most threes ever in a single season that have gone in the basket. And what a game. Hamburger comes off the bench, has a couple big baskets. You have obviously Kai Anderson having 25 plus points to lead their team. It was overall just a really, really good sound win for Perham. They got the Rebels to speed up, to do the things that Perham does best defensively. They speed you up. They get just enough turnovers, and that's what they were able to do. DGF is a nice team, but by the time it got to like less than 5 minutes in the game, Perham had the lead, and it just felt like they were composed. They were playing their game, and it felt like from about the 5-minute mark on that the Yellow Jackets were going to hang on and win, and that's exactly what they did. So it's the third time in the last 4 years that the Yellow Jackets are going to be representing Section 8 AA in the state tournament. And Corey, outside of Kai Anderson, you know this, is a team loaded with sophomores. So this Perham team is not going anywhere for a while.
They're not going anywhere for a while. Of course, Kai Anderson is pretty special. I was talking with a Yellow Jackets fan after their win over Wadena Deer Creek, and I believe the term that they used was she's their mother hen, because she's 2 years older than everybody else, and they all kind of want to do it for her and do it with her. And obviously, her career totally justifies an opportunity to play at the state tournament. I think it's kind of fun. She's going to Southwest. We've got 2 area basketball players who are dynamite, who are going to go to Marshall and continue their basketball careers, which I think is pretty neat. But the story here about the team is they can shoot. They can just flat out shoot. They're 14 away, like you mentioned. They're going to get 2 more games at it. Cripes, they made 14 threes in the win over Wadena Deer Creek, which is unheard of. That's kind of a ridiculous special number. But, like, can this team make 7 threes in at least 2 games at the state tournament? I tell you what, if they don't, they're not going to have a fun time. But even if, like, they absolutely can do this. It's pretty cool and pretty special. And like we talked about on Friday here, that it was going to be a tempo control game, right? It was who's gonna dictate their way of playing basketball. And I listened to the game. I listened to your call, and like you said, it just felt like a Perham basketball game, kind of from the beginning, even though it was a good basketball game.
Very back and forth. Yeah.
Could have absolutely gone either way.
Yeah. And, also, you mentioned some of this stuff with Perham and going down to the state tournament. And you mentioned with Kai Anderson, her role on this team. And, there was a very good moment, I thought, that kind of goes right along with your story. There was a point in the game where Gertie, the post for Perham, had a bad turnover. Whatever, her and Anderson just weren't on the same page for something. And you could see right away, Anderson goes up to her and like claps in like hey, you got this. Let's keep going. No worries. And she subbed out, did Gertie. She went to the bench. She's a sophomore, very impactful for this team, very talented player. And even as she was going to sit on the bench, it was on the Perham side of the floor. So as she was walking to the bench, Anderson is still like looking at her going, hey, let's go. Like, we're going to need you. Like, we got and all of this. And that's just a very good case in point, a real world example to go with what you've been told about how impactful she is for this team. And also, she was the only member of those section championship teams from just a couple years ago who is still on the varsity roster. And now it completely resets the clock. There is Claire Pilgrim is a 7th grader who will now get to have a few more cracks at it. But now the cycle resets for Perham girls basketball. Coach Super obviously talking about her going, last time we made the state tournament, we had a player on our team in the 5th grade. So we're trying to get everybody back there.
But that makes that what's funny is you word it that way, and that makes it sound like it was a long time. It was only 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Claire, by the way, is a problem.
She's a very nice player already. Yeah.
She's tall already. She defends
she gets after you.
I don't know what the right word is. She defends very well.
Yeah. That Perham team's good, and they're going to continue to be good for a while. Coach Super has done an excellent job with that program.
What's their draw? I know they got the 5 seed, right?
They did get the 5 seed. They're going to take on the 4-seeded Rochester Lourdes, who are 24-6 on the season. Perham is 24-4. And that is going to be at Williams Arena on Wednesday night at 8:00 for the quarterfinal game. They will play either Providence Academy, the number 1 team, or Central, who is the 8 seed out of Section 2. And again,
Raiders, baby, Norwood Young America. Raiders.
And they will play. If they win, they're going to play at Williams Arena on Friday night at 6:00. If they lose, they will play on Thursday evening at 6 at the Gangelhoff Center at the campus of Concordia, St. Paul.
I hear Gangelhoff, I just Gangle. Like it's just
it sounds like he should be a character on the Muppets.
Well, Gangelhoff here.
Sounds like he should be right up there with Statler and Waldorf. It's their long lost cousin, Gangelhoff.
Meanwhile, a gym at a private liberal arts school is named after him. It's the opposite of gangly.
Right. Exactly.
maybe not, but at least rich.
Very prim and proper on that sense.
Gangelhoff, yes.
Gangelhoff. All right. And also making the tournament, Sox Center out of Section 6 as the 7 seed. Duluth Marshall gets the 2. They beat Pequot Lakes, and Pequot Lakes beat Crosby Ironton. Minnehaha will take on New London Spicer in the 3-6 game. So New London Spicer and Minnehaha once again back in the state tournament.
Outside of, I'm trying to decide here. Duluth Marshall's a newcomer here.
Yep.
And I mean, I think going into the year, probably most everybody thought it would be Crosby.
Yep.
But like, weird. Providence is there trying to go for a 5-peat.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. New London Spicers there for the 400th year in a row. Weird. Never seen that come. Minnehaha has good basketball. I haven't expected or seen any. Rochester Lourdes. Boy, they have never been a problem in two-way basketball.
Right.
Weird. Sox Center, New London, by the way, same conference?
Yep.
Like, what the hell's going? Like, this is just this Class 2A this year is just a who's who of girls basketball.
And if you go to Class A, your number 1 seed at 28-1 is Mountain Iron Buell out of Section 7, because of course it is. Bram out of Section 5A is the 8. Hillcrest Lutheran Academy out of Section 6 will take on New Richland out of 1A. Mayor Lutheran wins Section 4. They're the 7. They're going to take on Sleepy Eye St. Mary's, the 2 seed out of Section 2. And Killier Northhome wins Section 8. They're the 3 seed, taking on Central Minnesota Christian out of Section 3. So that's where it looks in Class A.
Central Minnesota Christian maybe in Wilmer?
Yeah, that sounds right. Speaking of Wilmer, they are the 8 seed out of Section 8-3A. They're going to take on Stewartville in Class 3A.
Come on. Are we going to name a team that's surprising here?
Rock Ridge out of Section 7 AAA.
Not surprising.
Is there. Benile St. Margaret's is there.
Oh, not surprising.
Tatino Grace is there.
Oh, not surprising.
Marshall is there.
Oh, weird. Marshall has good girls sports.
Hillbury takes on Creighton Durham Hall in the 4-5 game.
There's a lot of private schools in this tournament.
A lot of private schools in this tournament. Do you think is that a sticking point for people? Also,
I think they're wrong. Just as an aside, I think that is an overstated thing.
Yeah.
With an exception, and that is Gentry Academy in the hockey tournament.
Hey, shout out Spuds, by the way.
Isn't that a fact?
Shout out Spuds.
Cool.
In Class 4A, Chanhassen, Rosemount, Monticello, Rochester, Mayo, all on one side of the bracket. On the other side is Blaine, Hopkins, the 1 seed as always, Maple Grove, East Ridge in the 4-5 game. So there's your state girls basketball tournament.
Yeah, the Crimson and the Royals are good at basketball again this year.
Shocker. Let's take a look at the boys basketball over the weekend.
Yeah.
I got a really nice game on Saturday I want to talk about. But first, you had 2 games that you went to, and both of our local teams came out on top. Tell us a little more.
Well, I saw Sebeka in the 5A game beat Pine River Bacchus by a score that I can't remember, but it was pretty much all Sebeka from the very beginning. This Trojans team is nice, CJ. They are very well-rounded. They've got like a guy who can just get buckets whenever they want. They've got a nice mix of underclassmen who impact the game in big ways and upperclassmen who have kind of been there, done that. They shoot the ball really well. They're entirely unafraid of the moment. And they have just a very, very clear identity when you watch them. And I don't know how else to describe that other than we've all seen teams run up and down the floor and not really like it, just the cliche of like they just roll the ball out and play. And it sometimes gets ugly. And Sebeka does not play ugly basketball. They just like very clearly know who they are and what they can do and what they're trying to accomplish. I enjoy watching the Sebeka Trojans team a lot. They just kind of have taken care of business in the 2 games that I've seen. It took them 18 minutes to sort it out against Verndale, but that was a common opponent, and that's just how that goes sometimes. They just handled their business against Pine River Bacchus. It was really fun to watch Sebeka play. So now they take on Nevis, and that game is Wednesday night. We should probably clarify it's township election night tomorrow. So all of those games have been moved to Wednesday night games, all the in the boys section tournaments. That's why that is the way it is. So they play Wednesday night at Wadena Deer Creek. They'll take on Nevis in what is the West subsection championship game. Shout out Trojans, awesome to watch, and a tall task with Nevis in front of them. Probably no surprise if you haven't seen Nevis this year. They start 4 guys who are like 6'4" and taller. It's just,
they're good.
They're enormous yet again, and really good at basketball. My other game was an 8AA, and it was Staples-Motley over Thief River Falls. And I got to tell you, this was the first 12 minutes of this basketball game was an absolute snooze fest, and I thought I was in for one of the more boring games I've ever watched. Like from front to finish, it was just all Staples-Motley, and it was like this game is. They just jumped on them. Thief River Falls is not ready, and then the last 6 minutes, all of a sudden, we went into halftime, and it was a single-digit Cardinal lead. They've got they had 3 guys did Thief River Falls who scored going into half, but they were all like already at almost double digits. They had 27 points at halftime did Thief River Falls, and it was because they had one guy with 10, or one guy with 11, one guy with 10, and one guy with 9. And it like they just were persistent and upperclassmen and some seniors who held on. But then Staples-Motley came out in the second half and just slowly but surely over the course, like 2 minutes. The lead is 6. 2 minutes later, the lead is 9. 2 minutes later, the lead is 13. 2 minutes later, the lead is 19. And then it was just like, it was the Staples-Motley controlled the first 9 minutes and the last 9 minutes. By a much more significant margin, played a nice basketball game, did the Cardinals. And they advance. They play Concordia Wednesday night. They'll play the late game, CJ. Concordia 7:45, and we'll take on Osakis, the Silver Streaks, the 3 seed. So it'll be 2 versus 3 in that section semifinal from Concordia Wednesday night, 7:45 tip-off. From the home of the Cobbers. So I got to see our 2 local teams really just like handle business. And that was only 2/3 of the local teams we had in coverage. And it seemed like your game, a little like mine, in hand early, and then all of a sudden very much not in hand for Henning, right?
Yeah. So the Henning Hornets had just what I would describe as probably their biggest scare of the season. That was a game there. So the Hornets early on, they were in control, right? First few minutes of the game, they get up 10-5. They're running the floor. They're getting the stops they need to get. They're doing what they need to do. And at halftime, it's 44-33. Kale Misigatis with a huge first half. Like they're rolling. And then over the course of the second half, you look at it through the first third quarter of the game, Henning's still in control. Hornets kind of had a 10-point buffer with about 8 minutes to go. And then all of a sudden, 6 minutes to go. 62-54, Henning with the lead. And then over the course of the next 3 minutes, it is a 7-0 run by the Rockets of Underwood, who, by the way, beat Nevis over the course of the year. Like, they have some nice wins in their belt, and if Section 6A wasn't so loaded as it was, the Rockets would be like a top 5 seed. They're 9th or 8th or whatever they're at.
In the state.
Yeah.
The best section in the state. Underwood, as a 9 seed, you're going to look at it and go, oh, they're not. You're wrong. They're really good.
Really, really good. They played these Hornets in the final game of the regular season and gave them a pretty good run as well. And the Rockets took their first lead of the game with about 2.5 minutes to go at 65-64. And then with a minute to go, it was tied up at 67. And the Rockets, it felt like they had the momentum, Corey. Henning would respond with a desperation bucket, tie game. And then all of a sudden the Rockets would go right back down the floor and they would get a bucket. And, oh, by the way, did I mention there was like 65 free throws shot in this game combined?
gross.
A lot of free throws. Underwood made a point. Underwood didn't necessarily have the best shooting night overall. They made some shots when they needed to, but didn't have the best shooting night overall. But the one thing they were able to do, they attacked the rim and they got themselves to the free throw line. They went 32 of 41 from the free throw line. They don't win this game, or they don't stay in this game, I should say, and have a chance to win this game if it's not for their ability to get themselves to the free throw line and shoot. Henning got there as well, 17 of 22 at the line. Most of those were Cale Misagatis, which we'll get to his free throws in just a second. And so Henning has the ball. They're down by 2 with under 30 seconds to go. This is it. They might not have been their last chance, but it was their last best one. Who else but Cale Misagatis with the ball at the top of the key, does his little shimmy at the top, moves to the left, pulls up for 3, and you think, here you go. Misagatis is going to drain this bucket, and we can all, go home. No. He misses, and it's rebounded by Underwood. And Underwood goes just a little too fast to try and get the outlet, and all of a sudden, Dawson Bushman steals the basketball back. They try and get it down low. I believe it was in the hands of Wiedrich. Wiedrich tries to put it up on the right side block. No. There's like 5 seconds left. Misagatis somehow ends up with the rebound in the right short corner and puts up a prayer. I mean, his position, I was up on the stage, so this happened like 5 feet away from me.
You were on the stage?
On the stage. It was packed in there, man. They had people, I had 50 Henning fans on the stage with me during that call. And Cale goes up to shoot. He doesn't have the best position.
It happened right in front of you then, too.
Right in front of me.
Yeah, nice.
He tried to shoot from the short corner, and I don't know if that ball would have gone in at all. It would have been a miracle, I think. But Underwood fouls him. And so with 0.4 seconds to go, all the officials meet, by the way. They have to decide 3 things. 1, was there a foul? There was. Who was it fouled on? Who got fouled? Underwood tried to contend it wasn't Cale Misagatis because you don't want Cale Misagatis shooting those free throws.
It goes to national tournaments for free throw shooting. That's not.
And the other one was how much time is on the clock. So they had 0.4 seconds left on the clock. Once they got all that through, Misagatis gets up there. Like you said, Corey, he went to a national free throw shooting competition for the Elks in the hoop shoot. He shot thousands of free throws in his life, if not tens of thousands, and none bigger than the 2 he had to make to send the game to overtime. And he did, tied up at 72 apiece. Underwood got a last-second heave, couldn't quite get there, but they go to overtime. And slate's clean. Underwood has all the momentum, by the way. And then Henning comes out on the first offensive possession, and Bushman drains a 3 at the top of the key. Henning takes a 3-point lead, and there was just this collective. Henning was like on the edge of their seats to, okay, we have the game now. Like that sigh of relief that like you could just wash it away. And then in overtime, the hero of the game was Beck Thorson. Had no points in regulation, makes a big corner 3 from the right side to give them a 6-point game, has another bucket in there as well, or 2 free throws. He had 5 points in overtime and none in regulation. And the Hornets come away with an 85-78 victory in OT. And let me tell you, Henning, I said this in the post-game show. I think that game took years off of Coach Misagatis' life. And I don't know if how many hairs he's going to have left on his head after that one.
I mean, he's got 3 of them. So like if it's the last 3, get good riddance, Exactly. And they'll take the win. They will most certainly take the win. Nothing comes easy in Section 6. And that was a great basketball game. Cale Misagatis finished, Corey, with 44 points on the night. 44 of the team's 85 came from Cale Misagatis. Cale, as I count this up, had 11 trips to the free throw line, if you count that all up. And if I'm doing the numbers, had in his 11 trips, he went 10 of 11 in his shots at the free throw line. Only missed 1 and needed all of them to send it to overtime and to get his team the win. There was some big rebounds by Bushman, some big rebounds by Wiedrich, of course, the big steal. There are other contributors in this one, but my goodness, is Section 6A a gauntlet, and things aren't going to get any easier for the Henning Hornets. They take on the Breckenridge Cowboys at the Hive in Perham on Wednesday night. That's a 6:00 tip-off from the Hive, and they will play the winner of, I believe on the other end of the brackets, Pelican Rapids and Park Christian. All those games went to chalk
on Wednesday or on Saturday night as well in Section 6.
4 top 15 teams, and that's probably being generous. It's probably closer to 4 top 10 teams.
Mm-hmm. Only one of them can get to state.
It's crazy. It's great. Congratulations to them. You know, it's funny. We always talk to Randy before games, Coach Mizigatis, and he's a good old school. There's coaches who are really good at they'll just tell you the truth, and they always will lean on the side of caution. There's always coaches who are this way, and Randy is one of those guys who will be like, we're good, we're a good team, but if we don't do this, this, and this, we're gonna get got. And for a number of years now, especially if you think back to probably since 2018, the year before they won the state tournament, he would say stuff and everybody would kind of roll their eyes, be like, yeah, man, we get it, but you're really good and are going to beat people. And that's kind of been the case for Henning basketball over the last number of years. But a night like that shows that when he said he's right, if you don't show up prepared or things just don't go your way, even if you show up prepared and 6 shots that normally fall don't fall, you can lose in Section 6A. It is the best section in the state by, I don't know, it seems like 1,000 miles. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know the actual distance, but man, oh man, is it competitive?
Yeah, it's an insane section, and here we go. We'll have more of it to come with the Hive on Wednesday.
Let me tell you really quick. Pelican, just in the QRF, Pelican Rapids is number 1. Henning is number 2. Yep. Breckenridge is number 9. And Park Christian is the other one?
Yep.
Is 15. So it's 4 of the top 15 teams in the state.
Pretty good.
I mean, the 16th best team has been eliminated. All right. The 20th best team, Hillcrest Lutheran Academy, has been eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty stupid.
This section's a gauntlet. It's insane. Corey, let's wrap things up by talking a little Vikings. In free agency, as of this podcast recording, the legal tampering period is open, and all of a sudden contracts within the first 10 minutes have already been agreed to in terms. I want you to tamper with me, but legally. Is what's happening now. But no moves for the Minnesota Vikings in terms of free agents as of this moment. There has been a tender that's been given to Ivan Pace, so basically the Vikings get a chance to match anything that teams put out for him. Same thing with Jalen Redmond. The Vikings have a transition tag-ish thing on him that keeps him with the Minnesota Vikings. And other than that, the only other big move has been that Eric Wilson has been re-signed to a 3-year contract extension where he's basically going to make about $12 million a year, which is a pretty good move. He was the Vikings' best free agent signing last year, bar none. And you might as well extend him and keep him in town. He took over Ivan Pace's spot in the starting lineup. And overall, whether it was his first stint with the Vikings or now, he's just been a very good depth linebacker piece for this team. Nothing that's going to all of a sudden make your defense scary, but somebody who's just going to be a consistently good player for you, and it makes sense to keep him around for the next handful of years.
I have nothing to add. I like him a lot, and I liked him the first time around. I enjoy him the second time around. Your team is better with Eric Wilson on the team.
Breaking quarterback news as of this recording. Malik Willis has signed a 3-year, $67.5 million contract, $45 million guaranteed, to go to the Miami Dolphins.
Oh,
which makes sense. The Miami hired a GM who was from Green Bay. Their head coach was the Packers defensive coordinator, and the Dolphins released Tua this morning. So it makes sense for them to get him. If he works out great, you have your quarterback. If not, he can at least be competent through a massive rebuild that the Dolphins are going through right now. So, and that's a potential quarterback option off the board for the Minnesota Vikings.
Good for him, by the way. Good for Malik Willis for really not having hope.
Tennessee didn't do him any favors and basically just got banished to Green Bay.
sticking to it and sticking through it and found a right spot, found a nice little niche. I hope this is one of those, like, I hope it continues.
Yep.
It's a huge, and that they use him the way he is supposed to be used, like Green Bay used him. I think it's fun when that stuff happens.
And I think, too, there's a lesson for Vikings fans to learn with J.J. McCarthy, which is like, if you just let him develop, there is a world where, not that Malik Willis is a star quarterback, but Malik Willis was out of the draft in a bad quarterback draft, got sent to Tennessee, he got thrown in way too early. He wasn't ready, went to Green Bay, developed, and the Packers were a good fit for him, and he excelled. A lot of bootlegs, a lot of simple stuff. It's not like he's zipping it all over the field a la Peyton Manning, but somebody who is effective in his limited sample size and earns a starting opportunity with the Dolphins. And I think if you're the Vikings, you say, hey, if we give J.J. McCarthy more time to learn and grow, there's an outcome where he does still turn into that starting quarterback. But for the Minnesota Vikings, the question now is, you still have to get somebody to meaningfully challenge J.J. for the starting job. There's been a lot of rumors, although nothing confirmed yet by insiders, that Kyler Murray kind of feels like it's inevitable he's going to the Vikings, or at least like there's a lot of steam in that direction.
I mean, yeah, I think he's going to be. Who do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be Kyler.
I think it's going to be Kyler. I don't see any.
And that would mean that there's not even a competition. Kyler's not coming here unless the Vikings tell him he's QB1.
I mean, I think it's going to be a public competition.
Kind of like how Daniel Jones was for the.
I think privately they're going to know behind this. They have their leanings, would probably be the best way to put it.
A competition, but when the ones go out with the first set, JJ McCarthy's not going to be the quarterback for snap number 1. It's going to be Kyler in the huddle.
So, okay, can we just take this to training camp really quickly?
Yeah.
A lot of ifs need to happen first, but like Kyler Murray is your starting quarterback, and just like is clearly your starting quarterback. Is JJ McCarthy, a Sam Howell situation or a Carson Wentz situation? Somebody gets hurt. This isn't right for us. We need to let's bring in JJ just so we have a professional quarterback in the room with us. Kind of a deal, or are the Vikings still intent on actually this is the plan he needed to be on all along? So we're going to put him back on the learning progress plan that we had originally scheduled for him.
It feels like it's door number 2. It feels like McCarthy was supposed to, and the Vikings did set it up that way to give him a development year. He just got hurt. And then the Vikings decided, well, we better roll with McCarthy and let's develop other areas of the roster. And it proved that McCarthy wasn't ready yet. And so basically with the time, I think Kevin O'Connell said this directly, the timeline has changed. So it's basically, we need to rethink the timeline, and the timeline maybe is having McCarthy be the bench quarterback and learn. And not even that, there are reports the Vikings want to bring back Carson Wentz, which would mean, in my mind, it would be Kyler Murray's QB1 starter, Carson Wentz is QB2 as the veteran backup, and JJ McCarthy is like Jordan Love was his rookie year. He is going to be he'll dress on game days because they can now, but he is going to be the backup to the backup because they just want him off on the third field throwing. They want him with the scout team throwing. They don't want him even thinking about having to game plan and play and read they want him just to work on mechanics and getting comfortable. This guy still hasn't even thrown 1,000 passes in his college and pro career. They just need to get him reps. It's like a minor league hitter. We don't need to bring you up to high level competition. You need to go to single A and just get at bat after at bat after at bat after at bat. And that's where I think that they go with McCarthy. I don't think they bail on McCarthy yet.
It's been this way for a while now, but this is also the benefit of the way things are structured on rookie contracts now, is the Vikings can afford to bury him and allow this to develop. Now, do they have 7 years of pro play that Malik Willis was allowed to kind of figure this out? Unfortunately, that's not usually how this works. But, if this is the Sam Bradford era of football, like JJ McCarthy's your starting quarterback because you've got $59 million set up for him, but that's not the way it is anymore. Those rookie contracts are not structured that way, which means you can hide him somewhere and be okay.
Yes, very much so. Scrolling through free agent Twitter right now, nothing yet for the Vikings. And we kind of expected this to be a quiet offseason, right? I know there's thoughts of the Vikings going to get Tyler Lindenbaum or the Vikings going to get this or that. This feels like a get right offseason where the Vikings are like, I think if you're Rob Brzezinski, the Wolves put you in charge. And I think there was this, is Kevin O'Connell running the show now? Who's in charge in that building? And I think very much so Rob Brzezinski's like, I'm the captain now. Like, I am the one who's making the decisions. The Wolves put me in charge to clean up the books, and we are going to do that. We're not going to go make a bunch of win now moves and kick the salary cap can down the road with dead money and things like that. The Wolves have tightened up the guaranteed money and the things that ownership can just pay for out of their own pockets. They're like, after how last season went, you're going to need to reprove it to us why we should reinvest. And I think that's fair, but what it means is that the Vikings are now going to have to be a little tighter with the money. They need to clear some cap space up. And there's also a thought of potentially even trading Jonathan Grenard because the Vikings don't want to give up. The Vikings don't want to extend Grenard to the money he wants because they're trying to tighten the books. It feels like Rob Brzezinski comes in. He's like, I've spent the last decade basically cap maneuvering, getting us out of salary cap heck. We finally got out of it. And now we jumped back into it. We're not doing this again. Let's take a step back and reset things and see how this goes for the future. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a talented Vikings team. There still is talent, and now they'll be less talented when they lose Allen and Hargrave and some of these other players. But that being said, if you get a competent starting quarterback in here, you will always win games with Kevin O'Connell as your quarterback or as your head coach with a good quarterback with Justin Jefferson as your wide receiver. Like, you are always going to be competent. And Brian Flores has another year in with this defense.
Going to maximize whoever is on the field for them defensively. Right. He just is going to.
And I think we said this all the time. If the Vikings had a somewhat decent quarterback that would have won 11 games and been scary in the playoffs, well, get them a good quarterback and let's see what they can do. And then see where McCarthy's development is along the way. This team just needs to get younger. They need to get draft picks. And I think it's where even like if they trade Jonathan Grenard, I wouldn't be happy about it. But if you can get a good, second round pick for him, a second and a third, this team just needs draft picks. They just need swings, and they need high round swings, first, second, third round picks. They just haven't had a lot of those in recent memory. And the ones that they have had have been very hit or miss. And that's an understatement. So a lot of things to talk about with the Vikings. We will recap all their big moves tomorrow, and of course, as the old saying goes, once we stop recording, there will be, some big news.
Something will happen.
Exactly.
And by the way, the news is just going to be that Kyler's a Viking.
Exactly.
We know what the news is going to be. When's it going to happen?
Right. If he signs for the New York Jets, then all of a sudden we got ourselves an issue. But
now we're talking. Now it gets actually interesting because now
it's time to call Derek Carr.
Is it Derek Carr? Is it Kirk Cousins? Is it now it becomes interesting. But I think if those are the three choices, isn't Kyler the most, not even interesting, the best? Isn't Kyler the best of those options?
100%. Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.